NBA, rookie becomes strongest shooting guard in history. Like, share and subscribe. Episode 1. Detected that the host has awakened. The god-level quarterback system has been activated. Logan hadn't yet reacted to what had happened. An unfamiliar electronic prompt sound made him stunned on the spot. The next moment, four familiar body images appeared in his mind. Vince Carr/Tur, Tracy McGrady, Allen Iverson, and Kobe Bryant. The god-level quarterback system has been opened, and the newbie gift package, the Peak 4 Quarterback Ability Delivery Plus adaptation, has been completed. Immediately afterwards, the electronic prompt sounded again and disappeared. In Logan's mind, there was no more sound. Host, God-level quarterback system, West Cordon AI, North Cannon My, Peak 4 Quarterback Ability. Logan, who was still in a state of confusion, instantly flooded with massive information in his mind. After a moment, he finally realized, myself, this is crossed. And from the bitter/forced year of 2020, it crossed to the end of the world 2012. Not only did he travel back in time, but Logan also went from being a social animal to a freshman at Texas A&M University. His physical condition has also changed. The current Logan is 2.03 meters tall, 103 kilograms and 2.20 m reach. In other words, Logan now has Maddie-like body hardware. In addition, he has the standard equipment of the Traverser, the system. This system, called God-level quarterbacks, gave all the abilities of the 4 quarterbacks at Logan at his peak. And it's also an upgraded version of Max. In other words, he is now a super quarterback combination with Maddie hardware. For quarterbacks peak speed, plus bounce, plus offensive plus defensive ability, the mythical beasts in the mouths of the fans of the Celestial Empire, Toomey AI, Reasonable Coup, and Injuryless Peak My. It is the current Logan. Moreover, Logan is even more powerful than these 3 divine beasts. Phew. Feeling the energy contained in his body, Logan clenched his fists. The basketball dream that failed to be realized in the previous life seems to be perfectly realized in this life. Meanwhile, United States, Texas. Texas A&M University, Office of the Basketball Team Coach. TAMU, Texas Agricultural and Industrial Abbreviation. Basketball team coach Billy Kennedy is preparing the final roster for the team's NCAA round of 64. Although TAMU is a number in the NCAA championship, the best record in the team's history is only the round of 32. But the process that should be taken, Kennedy still has to do a good job. After determining the base lineup with Chris Middleton as the core, Kennedy wrote the last name on the list, Logan. This freshman from the Celestial Empire can play from number 1 to number 3 and has excellent physical hardware. Defensively, just by looking at Logan's physical hardware, he can defend from number 1 to number 3. He is a young man with the potential to become a defensive elite in the forward line. It's just that Kennedy doesn't like to use freshmen and write Logan's name, and just wants the young man to follow the team to see the big scene. March 22nd, U.S. time. The 2012 NCAA Tournament round of 64 officially began. This season's favorite team is undoubtedly the University of Kentucky, which is sitting on top favorites Anthony Davidson. Anthony Davidson has a soft touch, both inside finishes and mid-range range, which is excellent. In addition to thick eyebrows, the University of Kentucky also has sadomasochistic Terrence Ross, Michael Gilgilist, Norrance Noel and Marquette Teague, who are full of shooting rarity. Thick eyebrows aside, Medjugorje is also a potential candidate for the top pick, and Noel is a top candidate in next year's draft. Kentucky's strong squad is the biggest reason why they are the favorites to win this season. Except for Kentucky, the University of Kansas with Thomas Robinson, Ohio State with Salinger, Syracuse University with Dion Vitesse, plus Michael Carr/Tay Williams, and more. These are popular colleges and universities worth paying attention to in this year's NCAA championship. Even Logan's Texas agricultural workers use a much-watched AUU League star player like Chris Middleton. It's just about attention. Even if the entire TAMU team combined, it is not comparable to their opponent in today's round of 64. The absolute core of the University of Florida, Bradley Beal, the best newcomer in the Southeast Division, won the Gatorade All-American High School Student Award during his high school career and was selected for the McDonald's All-Star Plus All-American High School Student All-Star team. In the 11-12 season, Beal's freshman season, he was already selected for the All-Southeast Division. Today is Beal's debut in the knockout stage of the NCAA tournament. What kind of performance can the super newcomer deliver? Even more attention and expectations than the victory or defeat of this game itself. Bradley Beal did not disappoint fans expecting his performance. University of Florida versus Texas Agricultural Industry inaugural match. In the 20 minutes of the first half, Beal posted 15 points and 5 assists to give the team a 15-point lead of 44-29. At the beginning of the second half, Middleton, who was lost in the first half, finally found his scope and scored 6 points in a row to help the team keep their hopes of promotion. But Beal's desire to take over the game has been on full display. The super rookie, with a burst of shots, not only improved his personal score to 25 points, but also helped the team consolidate its 12-point lead. Bradley Beal has lived up to his expectations, and Florida is going to reach the round of 32 under its own super rookie. Seeing that there were still more than 7 minutes left in the time, the direction of the game was completely in Beal's hands. The commentator on the sidelines made a verdict in advance, Texas agricultural workers can't stop Bradley at all. They have missed the next round. Just like the narrator said, Tamu was completely unable to stop Bradley Beal's tough attack. They lack a forward defender who holds Bill down. Texas farm workers coach Billy Kennedy paced back and forth on the sidelines, anxious. Time is short, where can he go to find a forward defender who limits Beal? And so on. Forward defender? Coach Kennedy seemed to have thought of something, and his eyes fell on the end of the bench. Luo, warm up and get ready to play. Episode 2. Unlike NBA games, NCAA games have 4 quarters of 12 minutes each, for a total of 48 minutes of game time. The NCAA only has the first and second halves, each of which is 20 minutes, for a total of 40 minutes of game time. Now, the time left for Texas agricultural workers is only 5.5 minutes in the final half. Coach Billy Kennedy, even if he is a dead horse as a live horse doctor, he has to let Logan go up and try it. Even if Logan can't play and see results, then it should be for this young freshman to accumulate some experience on the field. Toot. In the dead ball round, Logan, wearing the Texas Agricultural Industry No. 2 shirt, stood on the sidelines, raised his finger and pointed to his teammates on the field, signaling a substitution. And his appearance surprised the ESPN commentators on the sidelines. Oh, I'm not mistaken, am I? Texas farm workers, trailing for the last 5.5 minutes, replaced with a player from Asia? According to the information we have, this young player from Tamu, named Logan, is from the Celestial Empire and is a freshman from Texas Agri-Workers this year. A freshman from the Celestial Empire. In the crucial 5 minutes of the knockout stage, Texas agricultural workers actually replaced such a new person. This kind of substitution, in the eyes of the 2 senior commentators, is a very clear signal. They quit the game and started working out newcomers. It's not just the 2 commentators who think so. Hayes, the head coach of the University of Florida, also thinks so. Looking up at the 13-point difference of 66:53 between the 2 sides, Hayes let out a long breath. The game is already stable. Florida will be one of the teams in the round of 32. Luo, did the coach say anything? Of course, as the core trump card of Texas agricultural workers, Chris Middleton, who was still fighting on the field at this time, still preferred to believe that Logan was the secret weapon sent by the team manager. Leaning over to Logan's side, Middleton whispered, in terms of tactics, is there any new arrangement? Yes. Logan nodded. Chris, Coach Kennedy asked you to hand Bradley Beal over to me. During the time of the substitution, the task that Billy Kennedy gave to Logan was very simple. That is, no matter how Logan performs on the offensive end, on the defensive end, you must limit Bill's play well. As long as he can limit the super rookie of the Southeast Zone, Texas agricultural workers has every chance to recover the score and keep the suspense of the game. May I? Middleton looked at Logan, a little hesitant. Trust me, Chris. Logan nodded very firmly. We won't stop there. We won't stop there. Logan's loud words, coupled with his determined eyes, made Middleton stunned for half a second. Coming to his senses, Middleton patted Logan's shoulder. He chose to trust this young teammate. The game continues, with the University of Florida attacking the round. After the sideline ball was issued, the Florida point guard chose to put the ball in the hands of Beal, who has already scored 27 points today. Now that the difference between the 2 sides is in front of them, victory is a real thing for Florida. What they are looking for is to continue to deliver shells to Beal, assist the team's super rookie, and blast the first 30+ of the NCAA tournament stage. There is no doubt that with the victory already losing its suspense, another 30+ is simply not too cool. Boom. After Beal received the ball, he decisively ignored Logan, who was defending him in front of him, and pulled it out from outside the 3-point line to make a 3-pointer. A freshman who has just debuted, Bill doesn't even want to waste his physical strength. Dry 3 points directly scored 30 points, finished work and went home. Not yet my ZZ. Swoosh. Bill had a good feel today, and he knew he had the ball when he shot it. Boom. However, the next moment, the pupils of the Florida super newcomer instantly dilated. In front of him, Logan, who had just appeared, bent his knees on the spot and jumped high. A pair of long arms fully extended, Texas Agricultural Industry 2 in the air, like an eagle spreading its wings. And the basketball that Bill shot was like the prey of a falcon, which was directly caught by Logan with one hand. After finishing the one-handed cap, Logan did not give everyone in the field time to react, quickly holding the ball to advance the counterattack and rushing to the empty front court. Take 2 steps inside the free throw line, jump into the air, change your hands to one hand, and buckle your tomahawk into the frame. 55:66. The difference between the 2 sides is 11 points. If it weren't for the score lever on the sidelines, the score jumped with it. Just look at the silent fans on the sidelines, as if time is frozen at this moment. Oh, what do I see? In the end, it was the commentator on the sidelines who took the lead in slowing down. Luo, a freshman from the Celestial Empire, actually grabbed Bradley Beal's dry 3 points. Not only that, he also completed the offensive and defensive conversion in an instant after grabbing the hat, and his counterattack speed was simply outrageous. Another commentator added, his explosive power was on full display in this counterattacking round. Speaking of this, the 2 commentators looked at each other. He swallowed his saliva in unison. Perhaps I mean maybe, Coach Billy Kennedy, it's not about giving up the game. The University of Florida has a super newcomer Bradley Beal, Texas farm workers, and also has a super newcomer, that's Logan. Episode 3. It's not just two narrators. The fans who were dumb at the scene were also shocked in their hearts. They all thought that the replacement of Texas agricultural workers with new recruits meant giving up the game. Unexpectedly, the newcomer completed the defense of Bradley Beal in the first round after he came on the field, and a dragon counterattacked the front court, and the tomahawk dunked to score. Just looking at Logan's performance in this one round, you say this is a signal for Texas farm workers to give up the game? I'm afraid it's not the Texas peasants and workers who set off a clarion call to fight back. Steady the pace, lads. Florida coach Hayes, on the sidelines, gave his players a loud reminder. The leading team is most afraid of self-defeat. Logan's birth is vaguely intended to disrupt the situation. Florida's most important thing right now is to keep the pace at which the team is already leading. The game continues, again the University of Florida offensive round. Bradley Beal took the initiative on the offensive end to ask for the ball, but under the interference of Logan's long arm, the forced backup 2 points eventually turned into a fine iron. The rebound was collected by the Texas Agricultural and Industrial Center, and the attack and defense were instantly converted. But fortunately, Florida's return defense was fast this round, and Texas agricultural workers could only attack in positional battles. The Texas Agricultural and Industrial point guard handed the ball to Middleton on the other side, who didn't feel right to start from three-pointer, and decisively chose to throw the ball to Logan at the top of the arc before landing. Boom. Basketball started. Logan didn't look at the defender Bill, up as a dry three-point shot. Tracy McGrady, at his peak, attracted fans the most, in addition to the super fast first step and explosive dunk. His unsolvable pullback is also one of the classic signature offensive methods. At this time, Logan, who is far beyond Maddie's ability, this dry hair is not only absolutely terrifying, but also completely unspeakable. Bill, who suffered from a loss in height, could only look at the ball and sigh, watching Logan pull 3 points and run through the net. 58:66. The difference between the two sides instantly reached 8 points, narrowing to single digits. Cast beautifully, Middleton, who threw the pot, rushed to Logan's side excitedly and gave him a warm high five. When he threw the pot, he thought the ball was gone. Unexpectedly, Logan turned to K into magic. Base, don't 6. Logan can also be regarded as thoroughly understanding his own abilities and full of confidence. WTF. But the Florida Generals on the other side, especially Bill, could not accept the facts in front of them at all. The freshman sent up on the opposite side is really a secret weapon? No way, no way. No one really sends a secret weapon at the last minute of the knockout round, right? Aren't you really afraid that the team will be pulled apart by too many points, and there is no way to catch up? Bill began to have some doubts about life. Could it be that for Logan, no matter how much the team is behind, he can catch up? This is outrageous. The wavering heart affected Bill's offensive feeling. Another ridiculously deflected 3-point miss, giving Texas agri-workers the offensive possession of the ball. Logan Pingchuan, receiving the team's point guard pass, back dribble to avoid the interference of Florida defenders, into the box, 3-second area flanking into the air, hands dunk, 60:66. Just over 2 minutes after the substitution, Logan scored 7 points in a row to help the team close to 6 points. Toot. The explosive performance of the Texas Agricultural and Industrial super rookie made Florida coach Hayes decisively call out a timeout on the sidelines. In this situation, if it is not called a pause, Hayes feels that the victory in hand may really slip away directly. The University of Florida was forced to pause. It's incredible. Seeing Coach Hayes apply for a timeout, the commentator on the sidelines raised his voice. Logan, a freshman in Texas agricultural industry, used his continuous highlight performance to stop the opponent who was originally in hand. Luo's defensive and offensive performances are very good. I can hardly imagine that such an outstanding young man, this game, is actually his NCAA career first. Yes, Luo's performance is like a star player who has been playing on the field for many years, and his ability is too outstanding. Although Logan's performance on the NCAA court so far has only been the highlight of more than 2 minutes, but it was the performance of more than 2 minutes that was enough for the commentator to label him a star player. Locked up Southeast Supernova Beal, and scored 7 consecutive points on the offensive end with 100% efficiency. This kind of performance, to say that he is a star player in the college league, is not excessive. Even the two commentators felt that Chris Middleton, the original ace core of Texas agricultural industry, was like a role player against the background of Logan's performance of more than 2 minutes. Logan is the absolute trump card of Texas agricultural workers. Bradley, don't be too persistent. We are still the leading side. As long as we drag the game down, it will be us who advance. Coach Hayes on the sidelines, roaring to try to wake up the momentarily lost Bill. We are still 3 minutes away from winning. Persistence is victory. With 2 minutes and 57 seconds left in the game, the University of Florida had a 6-point advantage. Even if the procrastination trick is carried out to the end, they have the absolute initiative to advance. Coach, can we really win? However, Bill, who had a broken mentality, was extremely lost. 2 minutes ago, we were 13 points ahead, but now, we only have the last 6 left. There are close to 3 minutes left in the game. Can we really win? Episode 4. Bill's concerns are not unfounded. With less than 3 minutes left in the game, Florida's lead was 6 points. But the Texas agricultural worker, the freshman who didn't know where to jump out, also chased 7 points in less than 3 minutes. Give him another less than 3 minutes, what can Logan do? Nobody knows. For Bradley Beal, at least, he can't imagine what will happen in the rest of the game. Luo, well done. Luo, there really is yours. We're not going to win the game. Can we advance to the round of 32? On the other side, on the bench of Texas agricultural workers, with Logan's explosive performance, the momentum of the whole team has achieved a polar reversal. Before Logan came on the field, the entire Texas farm worker was lifeless, and they seemed ready to meet defeat and pack up and go home. But now, everything has changed. Don't look at the team still 6 points behind. After Logan's wonderful offensive and defensive performances during this time, 6 points? 6 points is a fart. Logan, I apologize for ignoring you before the tournament began. Not just players. Texas farm workers coach Billy Kennedy bowed to Logan in front of everyone in the team to apologize. You are also an integral part of the team. Please keep up and let us keep winning. In less than 3 minutes, Logan used his performance to completely conquer Billy Kennedy, the extremely demanding and rigid manager. Not to say how rare it is to score 7 points in a row in 3 minutes. It's not that Bill, who limited a few rounds, shows Logan's strength. These things may be achieved by many players in this year's NCAA powerhouses, but with the team on the verge of going home, in the midst of adversity, Mr. Key to helping the team survive in desperation. Throughout the history of the NCAA, there may be only a handful. Logan has this kind of power-turning attribute. It's so rare. Coach Kennedy, apologize, wait until you win the game. Wiping the sweat on his forehead, Logan shrugged indifferently. The game is not over yet. Truly, the game is not over yet. It's too early to apologize. Billy Kennedy was amazed at Logan's calmness. With this kind of enthusiastic performance helping the team to fight back strongly, the youngster was still able to maintain this calm attitude. Coach Kennedy felt that what stood in front of him might be a future NBA superstar. The timeout soon ended and the core players of both teams returned to the pitch. With Logan's magical play in the previous 2 minutes, the difference between the two sides is no longer an irretrievable level. The suspense of the game was regenerated, and the fans on the sidelines also watched with relish. However, the state of the two teams at this time has changed drastically. Bradley Beal, who broke his confidence, was completely lost on the offensive end after returning from a timeout. The core arrows of the team were all broken, the rhythm was chaotic, and the offensive rhythm of the entire University of Florida was completely dropped. On the Texas agricultural and industrial side, Logan came back from a timeout and opened again on the offensive end, and the University of Florida defense collapsed. Under Logan's leadership, Chris Middleton's hand felt exploded. This man who will not dare to cry at night in the future of Boston children, he is not soft outside the three-point line, and 2 consecutive three-point cold arrows shoot Florida. In the end, with the explosion of 2 forward scorers of Texas agricultural and industrial, the advantage in the hands of the University of Florida was wiped out. At the end of the game, Texas agricultural workers, who was originally behind in double digits, defeated his opponent with a 5-point advantage, won the first victory of the round of 64, and strongly advanced to the next round. We should take off our hats to the team that won today. At the end of the game, the commentators on the sidelines couldn't help but get up and applaud. They made us understand why the NCAA tournament receives so much attention from fans. That's right, Texas agricultural workers showed their tenacious fighting spirit and spirit of not admitting defeat, and their young freshman Luo was eye-opening. Another commentator also got up and raised his voice. Congratulations to Texas agricultural workers for reaching the round of 32. They will definitely be a dark horse in this year's NCAA championship. In the words of the two commentators, the fans at the scene also got up one after another and sent the warmest applause to the winning team today. The NCAA tournament is wonderful. The first is because the format of the tournament is an exciting single elimination system. It doesn't matter what kind of traditional giant you are, or a galaxy battleship, under the single elimination system, everything is possible. This kind of format that can work wonders is the reason why the NCAA tournament is so popular. Today, Logan's emergence has shown the factor of NCAA tournament popularity to the extreme. If you really love basketball, it's hard not to be blown away by today's game. I can guarantee that this game will be one of the most repeatedly mentioned games in this year's NCAA tournament. In the post-match interview, as the head coach of Texas agricultural workers, Billy Kennedy directly said, "It's not because we achieved a comeback to advance. It's because the player who created it all is called Logan." Episode 5. Billy Kennedy's remarks caused an uproar among the reporters at the scene. It's clear that this game will be one of the the hottest tournaments in the round of 64 of the NCAA tournament today. The reason is also because it is a reversal of double-digit points. The reverse is still the hot newcomer, Bradley Beal. Reversal plus Bill will be the core element of today's news. But in Coach Kennedy's opinion, what really makes this game remembered in history is because of Logan. This Celestial Empire freshman who single-handedly turned over the University of Florida is the absolute protagonist of this news. The appearance of Luo completely changed the situation, and it is hard for me to imagine that he is really just a freshman player. On the other side was interviewed by Hayes, the head coach of the University of Florida. He stepped up in the final moments of the game and turned the game around with an unsolvable performance at both ends of the attack. Seriously, even now, I can't believe the team lost this game. Hayes helplessly smiled bitterly. All this happened too unexpectedly. Logan was the biggest surprise. The better team was the eventual winner, and we only played 32 minutes of good ball. Bradley Beal, who was interviewed immediately after, is relatively direct. After Logan came on, we couldn't find our form in an instant and it was normal to lose. After talking about the game and Rogan's questions, Beal also officially announced in front of the media that he would participate in this year's NBA draft. Although the University of Florida broke the round of 64, this did not affect Beal's draft market. He is still the most promising 12-time guard in the eyes of NBA teams so far. I'll wait for Luo in the NBA. At the end of the interview, Beal still gave Logan, today's loss, I will return it to him in the NBA, with both team managers and Beal after the interview. The attention of the media finally focused on the absolute protagonist of today's competition, Logan, a freshman of the Celestial Empire of Texas Agricultural Workers. In today's game, Texas Agri-Workers was able to achieve the final comeback, relying entirely on Logan's last-minute explosive play. The freshman, who had never played on the NCAA tour before, turned his life on the debut of his career in the NCAA, became a well-deserved protagonist tonight. On the bench of the Texas Agricultural Workers, before Logan could pack his things, he was surrounded by a group of reporters on the inside and 3 outside. This kind of posture was originally intended for Bradley Beal. At this time, it was all used on Logan. Luo, congratulations on your successful qualification to the round of 32. You are the #1 contributor to the team's victory. Are you the secret weapon of Texas Agricultural Workers? Luo, how does it feel to be on the brink of the NCAA tournament stage? Bringing you on at the last minute, is this an arrangement that the team's coaching staff has been prepared for a long time? Row. Almost all journalists focus on one key point. That is, to put Logan on the field, whether Texas Agri-Workers coach Billy Kennedy was prepared. Is Logan the secret weapon of Texas peasants? After all, although I hate to admit it, the truth is, in the face of the reporters' long guns, Logan was calm. I am the team's secret weapon. I'm the team's secret weapon. Logan's calm words made the reporters at the scene instantly in an uproar. You know, the reporters didn't throw this question to Billy Kennedy just because they took into account that the secret weapon must be kept secret by every team. As a result, when it came to Logan, he directly admitted it so decisively. I just want to say that I'm the team's secret weapon, and if the next team wants to beat us, then find a way to target me. Logan's speech is not over. If you can't stop me, then we'll keep winning. Leaving this sentence, Logan turned around and left, leaving the reporters on the scene 3 layers and 3 layers outside, messy at the scene. After a moment, the stunned reporters came back to their senses. Logan's speech highlights 2 words: special confidence. A little more exaggeration is 1 word: mad. It was precisely this paragraph he added later that made reporters understand why he said so decisively. Itself is the secret weapon. This is to write full confidence on your face. I'm the secret weapon. If you want to defeat us, then stop me first. And Logan is confident he cannot be stopped. In other words, Texas Agritech's NCAA championship journey has just begun. Episode 6. Of course, Logan's confident post-game interview is just an extremely inconspicuous splash in the vast number of popular events in the NCAA championship. After all, this year's NCAA tournament brought together countless young talents. Bradley Beal is also just one of the best newcomers in the divisional league. Anthony Davis, Thomas Robinson, Salinger, Vitesse, and other famous college stars are the focus of people's attention. However, the news that Logan led the team to a comeback victory over Florida and successfully reached the round of 32 still made Texas A&M University jubilant. You know, Texas agricultural industry is not a basketball school in the first place. The last time the team reached the round of 32 of the NCAA tournament was back in 2008. At that time, the team's interior core, DeAndre Jordan, led the team back to the round of 32 of the tournament after a long absence. In the end, it doesn't stop there. After 4 years, the team is finally back in the round of 32. Probably not many people in the US are thrilled or excited about it, but by the time Logan returned to school, he had become a campus star for the entire Texas farm workers. Unbelievable, Luo, you have become the hottest celebrity in the whole school. Inside the Texas A&M campus, Chris Middleton looked at the enthusiastic alumni around him, and then looked at Logan next to him. Your performance in yesterday's competition has conquered countless people. Come on, Chris, it's just a round of 64. Logan waved his hand disapprovingly. Now, he has mastered the ability of the peak four quarterbacks. The University of Florida, who reversed one in the round of 64 and was just rookie Bill, is not so excited. With great ability, what Logan needs is a stepping stone to enter the NBA. And winning this year's NCAA tournament championship is undoubtedly the best stepping stone. On March 25th, U.S. time, the NCAA tournament round of 32 officially began. Favorites Kentucky, Kansas, and Syracuse University have made it to the next round. Famous universities such as North Carolina and UCLA also easily advanced to the next round. In addition to these prestigious schools, the University of Louisville from Kentucky is also a strong contender for this year's quarterfinals. They've sent a lot of talent to the NBA. Although there may not be top talented players this year, the overall strength of this team is still outstanding. It is worth mentioning that today the University of Louisville will face a reversal that defeated the University of Florida in the round of 64 Texas agricultural industry. At the round of 32 scene, a commentator from ESPN warmed up for the game. Before the tournament starts, what we need to focus on is the star player of Texas agricultural workers, Chris Middleton. But when the round of 64 is over, what we need to focus on is their freshman, Logan from the Celestial Empire. Middleton remains an absolute star for Texas farm workers. Logan, who helped the team reverse his opponent in the round of 64, is not less concerned than Middleton at this time. However, after the round of 64, there was also a small part of the media talking about Luo's last-minute performance. Before the start of the game, the two commentators put more pen and ink on Logan. Those basketball experts generally believe that Logan's play was accidental, and he may just have ushered in an explosion of touch for a while. As this narrator said, when talking about Texas Agritech's win over Florida, more experts felt that Logan was a 3-point strength and 7 points of luck. After all, it was less than 6 minutes, and it hit 16 points. If this explosive scoring efficiency is Logan's normal level, then Texas agricultural workers will not be able to say that Florida is reversed. Even winning this year's NCAA tournament is not uncommon. So, people do pay attention to Logan's performance in the next game, but people don't think Logan will continue the hot form of the last game. In the pre-match interview, University of Louisville coach Kyle expressed a similar meaning. We will focus on the ace player Chris Middleton opposite. As for their so-called secret weapon, the team's coaching staff is also prepared for targeted methods. Logan's confident speech after the last game made him a key target for Louisville. As long as Logan dares to play, Louisville will make him pay for his confidence. The pre-match warm-up for both sides ended quickly, with the starters of both teams standing on the pitch. Unlike the previous game, Logan started the game for the first time as a starting shooting guard against Middleton. Apparently, it only took Logan a few minutes to perform and conquer more than just Texas Amulum of agri-workers and the entire Texas agro-industrial coaching staff. Keep winning, lads. Texas farm workers coach Billy Kennedy patted Middleton and Logan on the shoulders. Your talent doesn't stop there. Episode 7. If Texas peasants had only Chris Middleton, Billy Kennedy would never have dared to say such a thing. Because relying only on Middleton, the team's talent is really limited. But now, Texas agri-workers still owns Logan. This freshman from the Celestial Empire possessed absolutely unlimited talent. The lineup of Logan plus Middleton, the ceiling of talent, will definitely not stop at the round of 32. Step on the corpse of the black horse and advance, guys. On the other side, Louisville coach Kyle gave his players chicken blood. Our goal is the Final Four. Understood, the Louisville crowd chanted in unison. For them, Texas farm workers is a very humble stepping stone on the team's way to the competition. Advancing to the sweet top 16 is only a matter of time. The pre-match warm-ups for both sides ended quickly, with starters from both teams stepping onto the pitch. On the Louisville side, there are basically no familiar faces of Logan. Obviously, this is a typical NCAA basketball powerhouse. Only college basketball stars, no NBA-level potential players. On the other hand, look at the Texas agricultural and industrial side. In addition to the 2 players with NBA potential, the remaining 3, even in the NCAA tournament, are at the lower middle level. Just looking at the overall strength, Louisville is indeed the stronger side. You can see 1 or 2 in the jumping session. The Louisville center easily won the opponent and took the lead in the hands of the team's point guard. The more powerful Louisville won the offensive ball for the first attack. The team's point guard held the ball for half of the court, and the rest of the players ran actively. Louisville's tactical execution is strong, with 5 players doing their jobs. The team's point guard saw the moment to send the ball out. Swoosh. It's just that the basketball wasn't sent to the location it was originally sent to. Logan, who came out of nowhere, stretched out his long arm and directly intercepted the ball halfway. Oh, Luo's steal timing is just right. He can even switch attacks directly. Yes, he's so fast, and his reach is very exaggerated, which is innate defensive potential. Texas peasants pushed to fight back. Logan pushed too fast. The situation on the field changed abruptly, and the commentators on the sidelines splattered saliva. Between words, Logan, who completed the steal, flew directly into the front court, rushed before the Louisville players returned to defense, and counterattacked and scored. 2-0. Texas Agri-Workers successfully scored the first attack. Looking back, Louisville's tactical offense failed to score, and the rebound was protected by the Texas Agricultural and Industrial Center. Offensive and defensive conversion. Logan asked for the ball on the front wing. 3 threats after a shot to open the defender. Dry up is a three-pointer. Steady hit. 5-0. The Texas Agricultural Workers' offensive was unabated, which made the rhythm of the Louisville Generals a little flustered, and the next attack still failed to score. On the other hand, look at the Texas Agricultural and Industrial side. Logan's firepower did not diminish in the slightest. The butterfly passed the 2 like a flower, and the horse in the 3-second area shot arrows, and steadily hit another 2 points. 7-0. In just over 1 minute into the opening game, Logan made a sudden shot and scored 7 points in a row to help Texas Agricultural Workers gain an advantage. Louisville still hasn't been able to find a way to open up on the offensive end. The Texas Agricultural Worker quickly countered up front, and Logan drew a 2-man defender from the outside, twisting his wrist to deliver the ball to Middleton, who was completely empty. The latter got up with a 3-point cold arrow to help Texas Agricultural Workers get off to a 10 o'clock Skylake start. Toot. Watching Middleton and Logan celebrate passionately, Louisville coach Kyle on the sidelines decisively handed over the first timeout of the opening. If you don't pause, this game may be spent in less than half a quarter. Oh, this is incredible. At the same time, the 2 commentators on the sidelines also exclaimed, "Is this really the first start of Logan's career? His control of the game situation is simply an old quack." The most important thing is that Louisville will not blindly fight alone. The ball just now attracted the assist after the defense, making it difficult to arrange the defense of the Louisville coaching staff. As analyzed by the 2 commentators, Logan has a lot of offensive ability, and if he's really a single-player player, at least Coach Kyle can let his players cover him. But not only does he have a strong single-point blasting ability, but he also has a very wide field of view. In other words, Logan is not only invincible in singles, but also has an extremely good ball intelligence. Without Logan will break through the defense 1v1 on the offensive end. Wrap Logan and he will split the ball to find an open teammate, such as the previous Texas Agri-Workers star player, Chris Middleton. There is poison on the left and right. How to solve this problem? For Louisville, who only has NCAA-level players, this question is too difficult. They can't solve it, and they don't have the ability to solve it. Episode 8. In the end, Louisville still showed the style of a strong team. Isn't it poison in the left and right cups? I want them all. In the first half, they not only failed to limit Logan's single-point play, but even blocked Logan's passes. Chris Middleton went from being the first offensive point to being the second in command, and the defensive pressure was reduced by more than just a star. With this level of defense, his form has also improved to the level of the Divisional League Championship. Texas Agri-Workers easily gained the upper hand with Logan's scoring plus passing style shift. At halftime, he was 21 points ahead. Logan's performance was impressive. His ability completely surpassed every player on the field. At halftime, the 2 commentators on the sidelines turned over the technical statistics. In the first half, he played 14 minutes, scored 20 points, plus 6 assists, and scored 2 steals and 1 block on the defensive end. Except for rebounding, which is not his strong point, Luo has shown his talent in almost every link. I'm now looking forward to the next round of Texas farm workers, who may be the biggest dark horse in this year's NCAA championship. Between the words of the 2 commentators, the intermission on both sides ended quickly. In the second half, Louisville still couldn't find a solution to Logan. In the end, after Logan easily bombarded a double-double performance of 30 plus 10, Louisville also decisively raised the white flag and announced that he would give up the game. No suspense. We can congratulate Texas Agri-Workers in advance for breaking into the sweet round of 16 in team history. Seeing that the 2 sides began to replace the main force, the commentator on the sidelines spoke loudly. They were on the verge of being eliminated in the round of 64, but when Logan, a freshman from the Celestial Empire, came out, everything changed. Texas Agri-Workers have created the best record in team history under Rose's leadership, and their steps are much more than that. As the 2 commentators said, the best record in the history of the Texas Agricultural and Labor team is Jordan Jr.'s team to the round of 32 in 08. Now, the combination of Logan plus Middleton has helped the team make history to reach the Sweet 16, and judging from the current state of the entire team, the round of 16 is not their ultimate goal. We underestimated the energy on the other side, whether it was the entire Texas farm worker or Logan. At the end of the game, Louisville coach Kyle, who was interviewed by the media, completely lost his pre-game look. Kyle, who lowered his head for an interview, constantly mentioned Logan's existence. "That young man from the Celestial Empire blew us up, and he will be a headache for any team in the next game." I'm sure it's hard for even Kentucky to limit Rowe's play. Kentucky is the #1 favorite to win this year's favorites Anthony Davidson. Even with this kind of strong team, Call feels that Logan can turn them upside down. To be able to make such an assessment by the head coach of the opposing team, it is needless to say how good Logan performed today. Rowe is the key to the team's victory. He is unstoppable. On the other side was interviewed by Texas Farmer manager Billy Kennedy. His talent is beyond imagination and our tactic is to get the ball into his hands. Kennedy's love for Logan is already evident. He was afraid that he was not blowing well enough. Rowe is the heart of the team. Without him we wouldn't have been able to reach the round of 16. Just when many media reporters felt that the team manager touted a freshman player so much, it would hurt the original core of the team, Middleton. Middy said directly, he is the boss of the team. Obviously, Rice Beans are not as careful as people think. He can be the core player of the team and willing to be the best assistant around Rogan. Whoever is strong is the boss. This is very reasonable. At the end of the interview, people still surrounded Logan, 3 layers inside and 3 layers outside. There is no doubt that the freshman who started in the NCAA tournament stage for the first time in his career directly bombed the team's first 30+10 double-double. Not only helped the team defeat strong rival Louisville, but also helped the team set a record to reach the Sweet 16. Plus Rogan's confident and even slightly arrogant speech after the last game, he quickly became a media darling. In this era of traffic, Rogan's character plus performance plus strength brings his own traffic. Luo, congratulations on helping the team set a team record in history. How are you feeling now? Does making history excite you? Luo, today you beat the first 30+10 double-double of the Texas A&M NCAA championship stage. Did this performance exceed your psychological expectations before the game? Rowe, you defeated Louisville. Will the next goal be to advance to the quarterfinals or go further? Rowe. The fanatical media scrambled to throw out their own questions, for fear of missing a breaking point. Looking at the fanatical reporters in front of him, Logan calmly wiped his sweat. The first thing I want to say is, today's victory in this game was already expected by me, so there is nothing to be excited about. Episode 9. Victory was already expected? Nothing to get excited about? Rogan's calm words really sounded like that, but the reporters thought about it. Big brother. Today's opponent is also a strong team in the NCAA tournament. Even if they don't have NBA-level potential players this year, Louisville is also a team in the top 8 and even has a chance to be in the top 4 in terms of overall strength. On the other hand, look at Texas Agricultural Workers. This is an ordinary team that was eliminated in the round of 64 and no one regrets it. In this contrast, Logan actually said directly, winning the game is expected. To say that he is not pretending/forcing is indeed that no one wants to believe it. However, people think about it in conjunction with today's game. Louisville, in terms of paper strength, is indeed stronger than Texas Agricultural Workers. But throughout the game, Texas Agricultural Workers pressed their opponents to play, and in less than half a quarter, they almost sealed the victory. This kind of disparity in strength match, Rogan had already expected before the game, and it seemed that very reasonable? The reporters on the scene were instantly disheveled. Rogan's wave of reason pretense is indeed speechless. In the next few questions, Rogan's answer is still flawless. He still carried out his usual confident plus pretending/pressing style after the round of 64. But because the report card he handed in today was too amazing, so this wave of pretense/force, so to speak, well-founded and convincing. After Texas Agricultural Workers beat Louisville to reach the Sweet 16, the final 16 team of the 2012 NCAA tournament was also released. In addition to such dark horse teams as Texas Agricultural Workers, traditional powerhouses like Big Ohio, Kentucky, Kansas, North Carolina, UCLA, and Syracuse University made it to the round of 16 without any surprises. After reaching the Sweet 16, the popularity of the NCAA will increase significantly. After all, every team that follows has the potential to become the eventual champion of this year's NCAA tournament. The highlight of March Madness is yet to come. Of course, it's not just fans in the United States who follow the NCAA tournament. Many current NBA players are also watching the progress of this year's NCAA tournament. Among them is Cameron Anthony, the all-star forward who led Syracuse University to the NCAA championship that season in '03, after successfully reaching the round of 16 at his alma mater, Syracuse University. Mellon also posted congratulations on his alma mater on his personal Twitter. In addition to congratulating his alma mater, Anthony also tweeted, "I will be watching Syracuse University's round of 16 live. I will be on site with Syracuse to enjoy the joy of victory #NCAA #March Madness." Anthony's tweet instantly caused widespread heated discussions on the American internet. You know, this year's Syracuse University has the strongest quarterback of the 12th class, Dion Vitesse. Not only Vitesse, Syracuse also has a 13-time lottery rookie, Michael Carr/T. Williams. The backcourt combination of McCauley plus Vitesse is what Syracuse University relies on to win this year's NCAA championship. In addition, many fans also speculated that Anthony's live viewing definitely meant more than just supporting his alma mater. Although the Knicks have played a winning streak this season by relying on Lynn Madness, the problem of the team's lack of a third scoring point is still exposed. Anthony's on-site observation of the game is likely to give a signal. The Knicks are interested in Dion Vitesse. They may want to trade the 12-time best shooting guard in this year's draft to become the team's number 3 scorer for the new season. In other words, Anthony is not only cheering on his alma mater on the spot, but also inspecting his junior brother in person. Cameron, how do I think this junior brother of yours is not as good as their opponent in the next game? Meanwhile, Madison Square Garden, New York. Stoudemire, a little bully who is training in the team, looks at the video on his phone. Syracuse's next opponent is Texas farm workers. They've been a bit of a fire lately. Just like Chassie said, Syracuse University's sweet round of 16 opponent is the Texas agricultural worker who has been a dark horse. And the opponent who Vitesse can't compare with the little bully is Logan, who played 30+10 in the round of 32. Logan's performance in the round of 64 is not much video information on the internet, but there are many videos of 30+10 matches in the round of 32. After watching Logan's match highlights, Stoudemire directly gave his own conclusion. I think this row may really be stronger than Dion. That's the best. Anthony, who was still shooting in practice, showed his trademark smile, who said I just went to inspect Dion. Episode 10. Dion Vitesse may indeed be the scorer to watch this year. He improved by leaps and bounds during his sophomore season, not only helped Syracuse University reach the Sweet 16, but also made the best team in the Great East. But Vitesse's strength and talent are likely to lead to his signing even higher. The Knicks are an Eastern Conference playoff-level team this season, and it is basically impossible to win Vitesse with their own signings. Look at Logan, on the other hand. This young scorer is no less capable of scoring than Vitesse, and his reputation is not as high as Syracuse quarterback. Perhaps the Knicks have a little bit of a chance to recruit the young scorer into their wing. More importantly, everyone thought that Anthony was going to visit Vitesse. No one will notice how much the Knicks care about Logan. This kind of information is not equal, and it is even more beneficial for the Knicks to select Logan in the middle of the first round of the trade. On March 27, U.S. time, the NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 officially began. The University of Kentucky, led by Anthony Davis, beat traditional powerhouse North Carolina to become the first team to advance to the elite quarterfinals. Immediately afterwards, Kansas, which has 4 NBA-level players, also defeated its strong rival UCLA and successfully advanced to the elite quarterfinals. The strength shown by these two teams in the strong dialogue allows people to see the confidence of the championship team. ESPN even said directly on its own website, this year's NCAA tournament final matchup is Kansas versus Kentucky. After several popular teams successfully advanced to the elite quarterfinals, another favorite, Syracuse University, also attracted attention. On the one hand, Syracuse University's outside combination this year does have the strength to compete with Kentucky and Kansas. On the other hand, today's game, it was not only Cameron Anthony who came to watch the game, and Amari Stoudemire, the two New York Knicks All-Stars, all on the sidelines, are likely to be watching their teammates next season today. NCAA 16 round of 16 site. ESPN commentator on the sidelines passionately explained, as far as I know, the New York Knicks are looking for the team's third scoring point. Syracuse University's outside ace this year, Dion Vitesse, is the answer the Knicks are looking for. The two commentators set their sights on Vitesse, who was wearing Syracuse University's number 3 shirt. The young quarterback from Philadelphia can be said to be radiant at this moment. Vitesse knows very well that he is the absolute protagonist of today's game. The two core of the Knicks oversaw the scene. The eyes of the whole country are focused. If you can play a masterpiece, you will have an exponential improvement in your own draft market this year. He is already the strongest shooting guard in 12 times, with the predicted height of the top 5 picks. Once today's performance explodes, even if it directly rushes into the top 3, or even the top 2, and even threatens Anthony Davis's top status, it is not impossible. There's no doubt that the goal is to win the championship. Pre-match interview. Vitesse, who has attracted much media attention, is also bursting with confidence. No matter who stands in front of us, there is only one result waiting for them. That's being eliminated by us. Dropping this sentence, Dion Vitesse turned with his nostrils in the sky, confidently turned and threw himself into the pre-match warm-up. For him now, one more word, that is, self-degrading/grid. Luo, your task today is very heavy. I will let Chris assist in defense at any time. On the other side, on the Texas Agricultural and Industrial bench, team coach Billy Kennedy looked at Logan. Dion Vitesse is difficult to deal with. No need for Chris's help, coach. Compared to Coach Kennedy's nervousness, Logan didn't care much. Dion Vitesse is not that difficult to deal with. I am enough alone. Let's be honest, Logan didn't think about it. Before the draft, Dion Vitesse was actually a little famous. If Logan hadn't known that Vitesse would have a hard time in the NBA in the future, he would have been intimidated by this pre-game posture. After entering the NBA, as a rookie of the same year, Bradley Beal is much better than Vitesse. Even Bill was easily limited by Logan. A Dion Vitesse? Don't beat him out of. Logan counts him clean. Coach, trust Logan. Coach Kennedy wanted to say something, but was directly interrupted by Chris Middleton. Logan can always do things that are unimaginable, and before today, Would you have imagined that we would be on the stage of the Sweet 16? So, trust Rowe. I think he can get Dion Vitesse. Middleton is different from Billy Kennedy. Having personally experienced everything Logan has done on the court, Midu has a deeper understanding of what kind of energy Logan has. One person can get Vitesse, by no means boasting about Haikau. He is much more powerful than Dion Vitesse.